Good morning, and welcome to PyCon UK 2017, which is the biggest PyCon UK we've ever had. So before we get going properly, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been involved in getting this room set up this morning. There was a wedding in here last night. There were about 500 people. There was confetti all over the floor when we arrived first thing. And the AV team from Enthusiasm Events and Tim, who's looking after the videoing, they've all done a wonderful job. My name's Peter Inglesby. I'm the conference chair for this year's conference. And thanks, Harry. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to welcome you all to Cardiff. I've said this is the biggest PyCon UK yet. Over the course of the weekend, we're expecting almost 900 people to come through the doors at City Hall. This is for a celebration of the Python language and the Python ecosystem and the Python community. It's been a lot of work, but I'm really, really excited and really relaxed as well. So thanks to everyone who's been asking. What is PyCon UK? I just want to talk very briefly about what PyCon UK means to me. The first bit, the Pi bit, it sounds obvious. We're a Python conference for Python programmers. Some of you have been writing Python for as long as there's been a Python to write in. Others of you will be writing your first lines of code this morning, and I'm really excited for you. For the new programmers, you're going to find programming frustrating, and that never really wears off. My family think my job is basically swearing at a computer screen. But another thing that never really wears off is the excitement of making a machine do what you tell it to do, using technology to solve people's problems, and taking something big and difficult and breaking it down into small chunks and solving those, then standing back and seeing that actually, yes, you've solved the thing that you've set out to. So that's the excitement that makes the frustration worthwhile. And so for the new programmers, I wish you all the best. This weekend we've got talks and sessions about more than just Python. We've got talks on the tools we need to have in our toolkit, on mental health, music, ethics, trains, robots, and all sorts. And although everyone here has some kind of connection with the Python community, we're not all full-time Python programmers. This is actually the first time that I've come to PyCon UK as a full-time Python programmer. We've got several speakers who are coming from outside of our community, and as such, I'd like to remind you that jokes or throwaway comments about other languages being inferior, well, they're not that funny, and they're not really welcoming, so they're not welcome here. Thank you. So yes, this is all about Python, but it's not only about Python. Now, what does the con stand for? I think it's probably supposed to stand for conference, but that's a bit too formal for me. It implies meetings and lectures, and that's not really what happens at PyCon UK. What about convention? Well, I've never been to a comic con, which apparently is a multi-genre entertainment and comic convention, but I get the impression it's a gathering for enthusiasts, people who are enthusiastic about cartoons, comics, films, and other multi-genre entertainments. I think most of us here are enthusiasts, but there's more to it than that. So I feel that as programmers, we're basically tribal people, and we tend to identify ourselves with other programmers who use the same programming language as us. The ancient tribes of Israel were called together several times a year for feasts and festivals, and these were called holy convocations. These convocations, these callings together, they serve the purpose of reminding the Israelites of their common story and their common destiny. I think we are the Python tribe, and this is our convocation. What else? During the next few days, there'll be a huge concentration of Python expertise in Cardiff. In fact, there's quite an expertise on the front row down here. And you should make the most of that, this concentration. You should have conversations. There'll be a chance to talk to people and meet with people and share with and learn from people from all around the world. And there'll be I've gone too fast. No, my slides are... Danielle's put my slides in the wrong order. Okay, there'll be a confluence of flowing together. So we've got a Pi data chat for the first time, and that's pretty exciting. And I hope that those of us doing, say, Django web development will get the chance to learn from data scientists and vice versa. And once again, we have an education track run by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Today and tomorrow we have a Pi Academy workshop for teachers, and tomorrow there'll be a chance for developers to go and get involved with that. On Saturday we have almost 100 children coming, and there'll be the opportunity to get involved with their activities and support them too. What I'd really like to settle on, though, as the meaning of con is conflagration, which is a blazing together of the Python community. I hope that we can all spark off each other, make each other excited, and carry the burning torch of enthusiasm back to our offices and our schools and our garden sheds, and keep us going through the winter months ahead. So finally, the UK bit. Of course, we're here in the UK. And most of the people here I know live and work here, but we've got visitors from all over the world. We've got people from at least 32 countries who've travelled to come here this weekend, and people from at least 51 nationalities, which I believe is one more than they had last year at the big PYCON in North America. I'd like to extend a particular welcome to those who've travelled from overseas. Yeah, so welcome. So what is PyCon UK? Well, I think you are PyCon UK. You, the Python community in the UK, and our friends from overseas, you are the Python conference in the UK. It's the Python community that makes people come back year after year. It's the chance to meet old friends and make new friends. The chance to share enthusiasm, to teach and learn. And I know that there are people here who've been to every PyCon UK ever, and that's wonderful. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, a special welcome to you too. I mentioned earlier that we're like a tribe of Python programmers, but unlike a tribe who define themselves by who they're not or guard entry jealously, I hope that you'll find that we're a tribe who are welcoming to newcomers. You might think my slides earlier were a bit Pi-contrived, but it was mostly me leading up to saying thank you to all our Pi contributors. PyCon UK runs on the goodwill of volunteers. Nobody who organises the conference draws a salary, and we all buy our own conference tickets. All of the speakers and workshop leaders have done their preparation in their own time. Out there, the sponsors are getting set up. They're important, valued contributors and members of our community. And we've had lots of responses to calls for help for people to be here at 6 a.m. This morning to look after the registration desk, to help chair sessions and to help film talks. Most of our contributors are wearing blue badges, so if you get the chance, go and say thank you to them. And if you think you haven't contributed yet, well, you have just by showing up. But there will be other requests for help during the conference. And I'd like to end by encouraging you, as John Pinner, who founded the conference, used to say, ask not for what your conference can do for you, but what you can do for your conference. So thank you and welcome. I'd like to hand over to Daniela, who's going to talk a bit more about Cardiff, about the conference.
Thanks, Peter. Welcome everyone to Cardiff, or indeed to Wales if this is your first time here. You might not know it, but Cardiff is actually the centre of the universe, and there are some astronomers in the audience who will explain why this is so. If you've travelled here from abroad, you might find that they drive on the wrong side of the road and they're expecting you to look in the other direction when you cross. So when you cross the roads, please make sure that you look to your right first so that you don't have any Cardiff is a fairly small and pretty friendly city, so from here you can walk into the centre of town and you'll find most of the things you need there, but of course you can always speak to one of the conference team if there's something that you need. Tomorrow night, Friday night, when you go through the centre of town, you may be slightly alarmed to see St. Mary's Street on a Friday night, because there's nothing quite like it on earth. But the whole street will be full of people who are drinking their week away, dressed up as, mainly as things like sexy firemen and sexy nurses and sexy superheroes and so on. And it's extremely boisterous and rowdy, but it's actually quite safe. So you might want to pick a slightly different route home if you find that alarming, but Cardiff is a friendly and safe city, but uninhibited sometimes. So throughout our conference we have a code of conduct. It's on our website, you can see it there. Distilled, it means treat everybody else you meet with respect and courtesy. We'll have all kinds of people at this conference, some of whom you won't normally see at a technical conference. For example, school teachers and children. They're like people but smaller. So your language, your behaviour needs to be suitable and appropriate for a general audience. You don't know who's going to be overhearing your conversation or seeing your slides, so just keep things within those sort of parameters. The code of conduct applies to conference social events as well, and that means that if you do find yourself getting into trouble after a few drinks too many, perhaps you might want to moderate that as well. We have a written code of conduct policy. We have some code of conduct liaisons. Where's Peter? There's Peter. Peter's one, I'm one, and Chloe is one. I think, Chloe, are you here? Or she's downstairs on the desk. And the phone numbers are on the website. Come and talk to any of us if there's a problem. The code of conduct is often about things that you shouldn't do, but one of the things that's very important here is the kind of politeness that we extend to each other at all times in our interactions. So don't think that the code of conduct is a harsh law that might be visited upon you if you break some rule. It's a guide for how you need to behave, and there are many positive parts as well as negative parts to it, to this. So, for example, when it comes to questions of a speaker, please make sure that they are, in fact, questions, and that they are questions designed to get information about something you didn't know from the speaker, not to show the audience that you knew something that the speaker did not. And general consideration for people and the place here. So there are going to be about 700 people here. 700 people can either make a great deal of mess or noise, for example, or very quickly tidy up a great deal of mess. So as you leave a room, especially at the end of the day, if you happen to see some cups or litter lying around, just pick it up on your way out and drop it in the nearest litter bin. When you're hanging around the doors of an auditorium waiting for something to start or finish, please keep your movements and conversation quiet. Don't all start leaving the room just as somebody's beginning or ending their talk. Our activities today are on the schedule on the website, so have a look at that and find out where you're going. All the talks are upstairs here. Lunch is downstairs. We have different lunch sittings. So if you look at your badge, you will see that it has an indicated sitting. And that's just so that we can feed our 5,000 in a convenient way. Observe your lunch sitting as best you can. Obviously, if you have to be somewhere at that time, then don't worry about it too much, but try and respect this. It really helps us. And don't worry, everybody will get fed. Excuse me, we're in the toilets. Well, this is a 19th century building. And the toilets in this building are for ladies and gentlemen. And not everybody here is or considers themselves to be a lady or gentleman and to fit into those nice, neat categories perfectly well. So, we welcome, as we do every year, a growing number of trans and non-binary people. And the toilets are not up to date with us, as is often the case with such buildings. So, in short, if you feel that somebody visiting a toilet looks a bit different from you, that is their affair and not yours. Please leave people in peace and let them use whichever facilities they feel are most appropriate for them. That's all we want to say on this. Conference Wi-Fi. This building is owned by Cardiff City Council, so the conference Wi-Fi is the Cardiff free Wi-Fi. Don't all jump on it at once. If you have a mobile phone that's also using, or a watch, or some kind of retinal implant that's using Wi-Fi, maybe turn it off just to see if it helps. Who knows? Even your phone reception won't be too great in this big old stone building. So please be patient with the conference Wi-Fi. If you're a speaker or you desperately need some Wi-Fi, come and talk to one of us. Video operators. Tim here, there's Tim. Stand up, Tim, so people can get a good look at you. This is Tim, who's has been here since 6 o'clock this morning doing the setting up, as have many other people. There are video operators, and these are people who have volunteered to sit behind a camera. There's a volunteer over there, and look after a camera for a session. And we still need some more, don't we, Tim, for the later session. So please come and see Tim if you think that you have the mental and physical skills to sit behind a camera and point it in the right direction for half an hour or so. Okay, we'll be very grateful for that. And I think that's all that I have to say. And where's Owen? There you are. You're going to talk to us about lightning talk. So, thank you very much. I'm Daniele. I'm one of the team, so come and ask me or anyone else on the team at any point for anything you need. So.
Right, good morning everybody, welcome. I've got the delightful task of explaining our high-tech system for lightning talks this year, which consists of 2 buckets. Now, for those of you who are new to the conference, perhaps not been before, the lightning talk session is at the end of the day, so today it will be at 5:30, and this is an hour session of very short talks, so every speaker will get 5 minutes, and they will be unceremoniously booted off the stage when their 5 minutes is up. Tim here will cut their microphone, and the rest of us will give them a round of applause, and they'll be shifted. They may have finished, and they may not have finished, but their 5 minutes will be up. Importantly, anybody at all is welcome to submit a lightning talk, and we'd love to see as many new faces up here as possible. We have a slightly different system this year, and the system is thus. These 2 buckets will appear down on the reception desk as soon as I've finished here, and you'll see they're labelled up. There's a green bucket for anybody who's never spoken at a conference before, and a yellow bucket for everyone else. And what you'll find next to the buckets is a pile of index cards. If you'd like to give a talk, take a card, write your name on it, write the title of the talk, and just drop it into whichever bucket is appropriate. We won't be policing the buckets, but if you've never spoken at a conference before, that's the bucket for you. The buckets will be there till 1:30. Shortly after 1:30, we will simply draw cards at random from the buckets, and we'll post them up. I think there's a flip chart downstairs. We'll find a flip chart. We will post them up somewhere downstairs. It's probably on a flip chart. If your talk is drawn, if you're going to be one of the speakers, please come and just confirm with the desk by 2:30, so that we actually know that everybody who said they wanted to do a talk hasn't changed their mind or gone home or whatever it might be. The sessions will be chaired, so we have a team of volunteers who will be chairing each of them, so a pair of people this evening. So again, if you've never done this before, we have people to look after you and make sure everything's working. All you've got to do is jump on the stage, fascinate us for 5 minutes, and get off to the side and to a huge round of applause. And I promise you, if it is your first time, you'll get addicted, and it will be the first step in a path to a conference speaking career. Thank you very much.
Okay. Fantastic. Good morning, conference. My name's Nicholas, and I'm going to talk to you about something that's happening this evening at 6:30. It's on the website, apparently. At approximately 6:30 this evening, there's going to be a code dojo. For those of you who don't know what a code dojo is, it's a collaborative coding event. It's beginner friendly. It's also friendly for advanced coding as well. And the three of us who have organised it, so that's myself, Tom, and Tim, we've figured out a problem for you all to come along and help solve. And at the end, after you've been doing some coding to solve this problem, we're going to do what amounts to a public code review, sort of a show and tell. And that is the most fun you can possibly have, because usually the code doesn't work. It's funny anyway. Apparently, there is going to be pizza and beer as well on tap for you to be able to consume in vast quantities. And in order for you to be able to come along, so we know how much pizza is going to be needed, you need to sign up by midday? By midday, okay. So I look forward to seeing you all at the Code Dojo this evening at around 6:30-ish. Go check the website, sign up. Thank you. 7 o'clock.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirk. I just want to talk about the conference Slack quickly. Obviously it's a very useful second forum for us. I'm sure many of you will have used Slack anyway. I've been answering as many questions as I can on there. There's announcements from all the team, and the committee and stuff are on there. There's a social group, so if you're looking for something to do after the conference, or you're looking for a good recommendation for breakfast or dinner or something like that, people have been talking about it on there. We've got separate channels for speakers and random stuff and all sorts of things. So if you're not already on it, there's a link in the email you got on Monday, which was the final information for delegates email or something like that. If you haven't got the link, come and find someone on the registration desk and they'll set you up. But it'd be great if you could join us, because it's useful to find out what's going on as well. Thank you.
Hey. Hi, I found out I was going to be speaking here about 5 o'clock this morning when I woke up, so a little bit prepared. So, as well as the things like the code of conduct, consideration for people and so on, we felt it was worth having, parallel to the Zen of Python, a Zen of PyCon UK. So the thing is, you've come to this conference, there's all these people, there's 500, 700 people, and maybe they all seem to know much more than you do, and there's this guy who's added metadata to his virtual environment and is going to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow or whatever. So, and you're thinking, I don't know any of that, who am I? Am I in the wrong place? Or maybe there's these people who all seem to know each other, they're backslapping and they know where the toilets are and everything's grand, and you think, what am I doing here? So the Zen is for you. Or maybe you're some guy who's been to every single Python conference there is and still doesn't know where the toilets are, okay? And that's me. So this is our Zen of PyCon UK. So bear in mind that everything on here is just a way of giving you confidence to make the conference work for you. And every one of these has a kind of flip side to it as well. So Never be afraid to ask someone's name. We've all got these badge things. I rushed upstairs, but most of you have got these badge things. But of course, it's a bit kind of gauche to have to sort of squint down on someone's chest to say, "Oh, hello, Fred." Ask their name, and then of course you forget, or he says it quickly, or he's Sri Lankan and it's 7 miles long, and whatever. So ask him again. But all of these things have a flip side. Don't be annoyed if somebody asks your name again because you probably said it quickly the first time, or they're just nervous, or it all happens. Don't be afraid to join a group. I mean, obviously, we're intelligent human beings. You can tell if you're sort of busting in on someone's, friendly circle. But if you say, "Oh, those guys are talking about that NumPy thing I use," let me go and ask them about this, or I can tell them about that thing I did, or whatever. And of course, the flip side there is, if someone joins a group, don't sort of ignore them for 10 minutes while they stand there. Welcome them in, and so forth. All the other things, ask for help. Just go to people. One of the great things about a conference like this is you can sit opposite someone at lunch and say, "Hey, I'm Tim. I use Python to do this, that, and the other. What do you do?" We have at least this one thing in common. We all use Python for something or another, or we have an interest in it. It's a starting point. The other things, though, are perhaps you're talking to someone and you don't agree with them. I mean, obviously, again, we're human beings. We know how to converse. But don't be afraid to respectfully disagree with someone if you need to. And the converse here, of course, is don't be afraid you find out you're wrong about something technical or about something personal. Don't be afraid to back down, to apologise. One of the great things about a community like this, you see it on the mailing list, you see it on the Slack channels and so on, is that people will be big enough to stand up and say, "Yes, sorry, I lost it there, I was wrong, I got the wrong end of the stick," whatever it is. I've no idea if they're keeping up with me here, by the way. And the other thing then is, don't be afraid to go out of your depth. So we're all here to learn. I'm not just here to reproduce the thing I know already. I'm going to be finding out about a load of stuff I didn't know about Python, and I've been doing it for quite a few years, by listening to other people, talking to other people, finding out what they do and so on. And don't be afraid to go in further than you feel comfortable with, and don't be afraid to sort of admit that you've done that as well. So if somebody does, this is a little bit code of conduct-ish, if somebody finds someone that's really sort of got the wrong attitude and they're saying things which, really don't fit in with the spirit of what we're trying to achieve here, maybe someone's decided they're going to mouth off about a different programming language, have a bit of fun, lads, hey, who does PHP these days? Then maybe you need to find the right words to say to them, that's not really in the spirit. There's people who do PHP, I do. There are very good reasons for it and so on, it's a good language, whatever, you don't need to explain about PHP. The point is that people ought to have the attitude that everyone here is just, on the same playing field. And finally, don't be afraid to take a break. You don't have to be at the conference, even if you're here for all the days. You don't have to be solidly. If you want to go out and see Cardiff, go out and see Cardiff. I hear it's a great place. If you want to just take a coffee out in the gardens when it's not raining, go and do that. But the thing here is making the conference work for you and making it work for everybody else. And doing that just by being open and friendly and not feeling worried about what other people are going to think. Thank you.
There was one thing I forgot in the excitement of slicing my finger open on the printer this morning, and the lanyards. If you're wearing an orange one, it means you're a volunteer. So either you volunteered or somebody, committee, or yeah. So if you're wearing one of these, then you're supposed to know things, and people will come to you and ask questions. If you're wearing a yellow lanyard, or if somebody else is wearing a yellow lanyard, that means they prefer not to be photographed. So look when you're taking your photographs, and if subsequently you find that you've inadvertently captured somebody wearing a yellow lanyard in your photograph, it would be nice if you were not to publish that on the web to respect their wishes. If they're wearing a blue lanyard, then I think you're allowed to photograph them. Please be aware that in this room, definitely, and in some of the other rooms, there are forward-facing cameras on the audience. Is that the case in all the rooms, or just this one?
This one only, and this one isn't being zoomed in.
Okay, so if you're close to a camera at the front here, it may appear on some of the video. You should be aware of that. That's it. I think I'll hand over to our first.
Yes. Just have to fix the flicker.
Okay. So I'll this one.